Hey guys, it's Weston here. So today I'm going to be reviewing the Allreli X100 gaming mouse, and I'm going to be seeing if it's a good budget option. Also, Allreli did send this out to review, but as always that does not affect my judgment, and all the opinions in this video are my own. So now let's not waste any more time and let's get into it. So kicking off with the design first, and this is definitely a gamers orientated design. So we've got a semi-matte finish to the main body with some mirrored accents. Now the mirrored accents do get mucky really easily, and keeping it clean can be a bit of an issue, but I do actually quite like the design. It's not really something I'd personally go for myself, but I do like it. I also really love the LED accents. Now these go pretty much all the way around the mouse, and I just think they add something a little bit different. Usually you just get a few areas that are accented, but this is pretty much around the mouse, and I think it's a really nice effect. Also, the scroll wheel has LED lighting too, and it's got a really nice soft textured finish, and the scroll wheel feels nice. It's smooth, it's nicely positioned, and it's got a decent amount of step in it as well, so that means the steps in between the individual scrolls are pretty good. We've also got a DPI switch. Now there are 6 different DPI settings which are all color coded. So 800 is red, 1200 is yellow, 2000, which is my preferred choice, is green, 3200 is blue, 5000 is light blue, and 7200 DPI is purple. So it's got a really big range of DPI. Like I said, keep mine at 2000 because that's just my preferred speed, but it's pretty much got you covered whether you like it faster or slower. And I love it because it's easily accessible and you can easily switch your DPI on the fly. Next up on the mouse, we've got some forward and back buttons. Now these are really nicely positioned. They feel a little bit mushy though. They're not the best feeling buttons in the world, but they're really nicely positioned for where my thumb rests for my grip style. Then we get onto the left and right click, and these are actually pretty decent. It's a little bit springy, but it's got decent travel distance, and they are quite responsive. Then we get onto the cable, and this is a red and black fabric cable, and it's actually really strong, it's really robust. It does tug a little bit, and it is a little bit tight at first, but after a while it does loosen up a little bit. So then we get onto the comfort of this mouse, and I actually find it quite comfortable. It just fits my grip style really well. Now I have average size hands for a male, and for me it fits perfectly fine, but if you've got smaller size hands or larger hands, then it might not be as comfortable for you. I love the little indentations in the clicks, and my fingers just rest there really nicely. I also like the grip for your thumb. Now it is plastic. I would have preferred sort of a silicone rubber finish to it because it would have been a bit nicer on my thumb, but it is nicely positioned and it's genuinely comfortable. So then we get on to gliding, and it's actually not fantastic. I've noticed that the feet underneath the mouse seem to catch on my mouse mat quite a lot, and the glide is a little bit rough. Now it will smooth up after a few weeks use, but I've only had mine about 2 weeks and it's still a little bit rough. So now we get onto the specifications of this mouse, and this either worked with USB 2 or USB 3. It also has a 1000 Hz AVA G03310 laser engine. Yes, it's a bit of a mouthful, but that's the laser that it actually uses, and it's pretty good. It's really responsive. The tracking speed is at 60 inches per second with 20G acceleration, and it does track really well. Now I do a lot of video editing and I do a fair bit of gaming as well with this mouse, and it's really good for both. For video editing I have the DPI a little bit slower, and then like I said, it just tracks really nicely. Now I can scroll through my timeline pretty well, and I can go backwards and forwards to make cuts really easily and fluidly. Gaming, it's pretty respectable too. Now the only game I really play with a keyboard and mouse is World of Tanks, and it's pretty decent. So I play a lot of artillery and a lot of tank destroyers, and I found 2000 DPI is my preferred choice for artillery. So that just gives me enough speed to move around the map pretty quickly, but it also allows me to slow down enough for those stationary targets. Tank destroyers I found 1200 DPI works the best, because that way you can just be really slow and quite accurate when you need to, but because it's got that DPI switch I can change it up on the fly and speed up if I've got a faster moving target. And then finally we get onto the included software. Now it's not the prettiest looking software, but for the price of the mouse I'm not really too concerned as long as it works well, and the software does work pretty good. Now you can have different settings, you can set your macros, you can set custom DPI, which is something I really do like. So with your DPI you can actually change the level of DPI, but you can also change the colors as well. So if you've got, say, a white and blue setup, you can have your preferred DPI to blue, and that way it'll match your setup a bit better. And I think that's pretty cool. You've also got things like your report rate, your mouse moving speed, your double click speed, some more LED functions. Like I said, it's not the prettiest software, but for the price of the mouse and everything that you get with it, I think it's actually pretty good. It could do with a bit of a refresh in the UI to make it look a bit nicer, but functionality wise, it works great. Right guys, so let's wrap this review up. What do I think of this, and is it a good budget option? Well, in my opinion, it's decent. It's got a couple of downsides, like the build quality isn't fantastic. I would have liked to have seen some softer material on the thumb rest. It would have just made the experience a little bit better. But all in all, it is a decent budget option. It's $27 US, 24 quid in the UK, and I think it's a pretty good mouse. It's got some good features, the software works really well, and for video editing and for gaming, it is a pretty solid mouse. So if you're just looking for something for a little budget option, then I'd highly recommend checking one out. I mean, if you look around, you might find one that's a little bit better built, but I think for its feature set and everything else it has, it is a pretty good budget option. Right guys, so that is pretty much it for this one. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you're new to the channel and haven't subscribed, that would be awesome. It goes a long way to help out, and you get to see my videos when they first come out, and all the other stuff I do on the channel too. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you all on the very next one.